strongly dislike Jennifer Lawrence in this role of Mystique. I don't know why she came back for Dark Phoenix because I know all their contracts were for a trilogy, and so Dark Phoenix being made was kind of like, let's right this wrong of the Dark Phoenix saga that was attempted in The Last Stand, which I commend. Go ahead and retell one of the greatest X-Men storylines the right way, especially with Sophie Turner as Jean Grey from Game of Thrones fame. I think that casting is great, and so I'm excited for them to retell. Also, Simon Kinberg, this is his directorial debut, and he has been an X-Men producer for so long, and so I'm glad to see Bryan Singer turning over the reins. Yeah,
Turning over the reins.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
well,
I feel like those reins were taken away.
at the time when it was done, it was before any allegations were going on, but maybe they knew something behind scenes and they transitioned it. Either way, Simon Kinberg is a professional and he is a big fan of the X-Men, and he's worked with the X-Men characters for almost 2 decades now. So I think he's the perfect person to direct this movie. I'll let you talk in a second, but I want to go on a bit of a tirade on Jennifer Lawrence, and I know you probably have stuff to say too. Jennifer Lawrence should not have signed on to do this movie because she clearly does not want to be here. In the trailer, my biggest problem was her freaking makeup. She is playing Mystique, and it is well documented in this movie universe what Mystique looks like. Mystique has been in, this is her 7th movie appearance. The fans know what she looks like, and the fans also know that Jennifer Lawrence is an A-list movie star who signed on to do First Class and do a whole trilogy before she got all of her fame, and now she is bigger than the X-Men, and it's well documented that she doesn't like doing the makeup for Mystique, and that the makeup chair is like a 6-hour process, and it looks like they were just like, you know what, fine, we're sick of hearing you complain, and it looks like they just spray painted her blue, taped some scales on, and it looks like they're gonna kill her in her first and only scene in the movie. Why did she even do this movie if she's not gonna show up and actually care?
Yeah, I think it's crazy, and she's played Mystique since, right? She's the only person to play Mystique, correct?
Well, Rebecca Romijn played her in the original trilogy. Jennifer Lawrence has played her in First Class, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well...
But when X-Men First Class came out in 2011, that was before she won her Academy Award. It was before she was an A-lister.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, geez, I'm looking at these pictures. Yeah, that looks ridiculous. She looks like she's, like, Kree, not Mystique.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful. Oh, my God. My main point, I truthfully don't think that many people are going to be excited for this movie because it's taken too long to be made. They failed in X3, and now they're redeeming themselves somehow. Most of the actors are different now. So, like, I feel like it just doesn't work.
I was a fan of a lot of the recasting. I think Ty Sheridan as Cyclops is great. He was great in Ready Player One. He was great in Mud with Matthew McConaughey. He was good. He was well cast. Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, also another good casting. And then I forget the actress who's playing Storm, but I also thought she was really good. And I know she was in a show called House of Anubis on Nickelodeon that I really enjoyed when I was in elementary and middle school. Alexandra Shipp is the actress playing Storm. I thought they were very well recast, and I think it's a shame that they're not going to get a good amount of movies to stand out because they only started in X-Men Apocalypse. But nonetheless, I do see where you're coming from, that people aren't going to be excited enough to watch this movie. Me being an X-Men fan and a fan of their storylines, and especially the Dark Phoenix storyline, I think that they have a lot of cool stuff to work with. I think that this movie could be really cool, but I think a lot of backstage politics are going to prevent it from getting some box office.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, other stuff in this trailer. I like the aspect that they're going to space. I think that's something, we haven't seen that with X-Men yet, and I think that's a cool twist to put on it.
They go to space and they find the portal taking them to the MCU.
That'd be interesting, but I think this movie actually could have a really cool end credit scene. I mean, we don't I doubt that they're ready to announce that the X-Men are officially in the MCU or ready to even tease it on screen yet, but it could have a really cool end credit scene if they're ready to film something.
Yeah, true. I'm still. I just wonder what Disney's gonna do after this. It's very. Cause
I think the fact that Disney is wrapping up.
Oh wait.
Sorry.
Did New Mutants ever come out?
New Mutants is due this year,
even though
it was due April of last year.
So yeah, that's coming out as well.
Yeah, that's not going to be a franchise.
What about the Gambit movie?
Never ever happening ever.
So
even if
it looks like
fire.
I wonder if New Mutants is even going to come out. I mean, they made it. So.
It's gonna come out. It has some big kid actors in it. Actors. They're more teens, but the
2 days ago, look, Business Insider, X-Men spin-off movie The New Mutants is reportedly in limbo as the Disney-Fox merger looms.
Well,
2 days ago.
Maybe it'll be on streaming services, but
it looks like it could be Disney+.
Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones is in it. Anya Taylor-Joy from Split and Glass, the main girl that got kidnapped, she's in it as well. The older brother in Stranger Things is also in it. They have some really cool names, and I think this movie should get released, and it will get released. It's not just going to be put in the archives, but there's a lot, back to the Dark Phoenix trailer, there's a lot of cool stuff in it. I love James McAvoy's Professor X is some of the best casting in comic book movies, and the line when Cyclops is going, tell me what to do, Charles, like, what can we do? And Professor X goes, I don't know what to do. I love that line because he sounds like Patrick Stewart in his delivery, and it doesn't look like he's doing an impression. It's just the way he says it, flawless. Yeah. The power of Sophie Turner as Jean Grey is palpable in this trailer, and Jessica Chastain as like the villain, the one who's going to be in Jean Grey's head trying to convince her. She's playing Smith, but she was recently on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and she gave away way too much. She basically was like, oh, I'm going to get to hurt some X-Men, maybe kill some X-Men, so we're going to see some X-Men dying in this movie. And then when they were like, you're playing Smith, and she's like, yeah, well, that's my name right now. So we know she's playing a bigger character. I think there's a chance she could be playing a female version of Mr. Sinister. I think that would be a cool reveal. He's like the one big X-Men villain that they haven't done in the movies yet, and it would make sense. I say
save it for the MCU.
Yeah, but I mean, even if they just call her like Mistress Sinister or something, and then they don't do anything with it. At the same time, I mean, we're never gonna see that female Wolverine that was so masterfully done at X-23. We're never gonna see that iteration again.
I have I know we're talking about X-Men, but I just found something that we should, if you want to talk about, it's about Luke Perry and Quentin Tarantino.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Basically, to wrap this up, X-Men Dark Phoenix comes out later this year, and I'm excited for it. Mike, not so much, but I will still be seeing the last Fox X-Men movie, big team up on the big screen. Mike, go ahead.
So I'm just looking at this article. Luke Perry died a couple days ago.
Rest in peace. Thoughts and prayers to his family.
It looks like his last role will be in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's really interesting. Wow. Very excited for that movie, as I know you are too, Mike. Mike's gonna be the first man in line because
yes, I will.
He's one of Tarantino's biggest fans, and Luke Perry. It was very tragic news to hear. Funny enough, his son is a professional wrestler, and his son is signed on to the new company that's going to rival WWE, and they put out a statement as well, and that's when I realized the connection that, oh man, like, his son, who's going to be like a big name in wrestling soon, I didn't even realize that was his father, and he was most recently of Riverdale fame, but I know he had a lot more theatrical roles.
Yeah, he did. 90210, I think that was like his first thing. But still, I mean, it's cool that, he gets to at least his last movie probably be, a really good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, if you're obviously his death was untimely, but if you're gonna wrap up your career as an actor, I can't think of a better director you would want to work with than Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, so many people have passed away on that movie. Who else was supposed? Oh, Burt Reynolds, I'm pretty sure was supposed to be in it.
But did he film anything, or is he?
I don't. Let's see. Once Upon a Time. I think he's getting replaced by someone else.
Yeah, that would make sense, but
because I don't think he had enough time to do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Bruce Dern. It replaced him. Bruce Dern was in Hateful Eight. So.
Yeah, I recognize the name and I can see his face. All right. With that being said, do you have any final thoughts on that last story?
Just thoughts to the family. I mean, obviously, as we said, too soon. It really stinks when stuff like that happens. But I'm also looking forward to Quentin Tarantino's next movie.
Yeah, it comes out in August, I believe, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's DiCaprio's return to the big screen.
And I will be first in line at the Showcase Cinema.
Absolutely. All right, with that being said, it is now time for us to roll credits. All right, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us on today's show. It is great to be doing news alongside Mike again. I know he's working hard, but whenever we can get him on, it's always a delight. Some great news to talk about, basically a lot of good stuff to be looking forward to. What to see this weekend, go out and see Captain Marvel. Whether you like it or not, if you have interest in seeing this movie, if you are going to make an opinion about seeing this movie, go see this movie. There's nothing I hate more than people who form their own opinions, who form opinions on movies based on what other people are saying. Go out, see this movie if you want to see it, if you want to form your own opinion, and then rip it to shreds or give it all the praise you want. You cannot say this movie, conquers feminism and conquers sexism, or you cannot pan this movie for being a female-led superhero movie, or pan Brie Larson's performance without seeing it. If you want to criticize this movie, mini rant here, if you want to criticize this movie, or if you want to praise this movie, you have to see the movie. That's my rule. With that being said, go out and see Captain Marvel this weekend. Support the MCU, support comic book movies, support female-led comic book movies. If we want to see more diversity in Hollywood, we got to go out and show that we're going to support these movies. Alita Battle Angel was a big chance for that, and not a lot of people went out to go see it. Now's your chance. Mike, any thoughts about this upcoming weekend?
Pretty much agree with you there. Definitely go see Captain Marvel. Come with no opinions and leave with them.
Absolutely. All right. With that being said, a lot of cool stuff with the podcast. We are doing movie reviews every other week, every other Friday. This Friday, I mentioned it on last week's podcast. We're doing Hell or High Water. So if you haven't seen that movie, you can catch it on Netflix and then come along and listen to our show on Friday. And you can listen in just like you watched the movie with us. We're going to be talking in depth all about performances and our favorite scenes, all that. It'll be a conversation with me, Mike, and you, the listener. Big things for the podcast. Hopefully trying to lock down an interview at some point soon. I can't quite confirm on who that interview will be, but hopefully we can secure something. I am personal projects. I am working alongside Action Movie Anatomy, Ben Bateman and Andrew Guy, with their new action industries, trying to branch out their stuff. I'm doing a lot of PR work with them, reaching out to publicists and all that, trying to get them guests on their show, and that's a big thing. They covered Get Out on this most recent episode, so if you've seen that movie, if you want to listen to two nerds in suits basically talk all about Get Out, go on and check out their most recent episode on the Popcorn Talk Network. Mike, anything you want to plug?
If you're in the Newport area between April 10th and 14th, come see Gypsy.
Absolutely, yeah. Go support local theater if you're in the Rhode Island area. With that being said, you can find me on all social media platforms at Liam Crowley 714.
You can find me everywhere at Mike Gillis 25.
And you can find the podcast on Twitter at BlockBreakPod. Subscribe, rate, leave us a review on iTunes. We would greatly appreciate it. Also, be sure to tweet us, DM us any of your questions on Twitter. With that being said, I've been Liam Crowley. That's Mike Gillis. Thank you guys so much for joining us on today's show, and we will see you next week.